Soundstripe.
I was trying to Google if there was any NHL players that were number 14 since it's episode 14 that I would know, but I didn't. So, welcome to episode 14 of Two Girls Chirping. I'm Lauren.
I'm Abby.
And today, what are we talking about?
We are talking about the Blackhawks and the Nashville Predators.
I don't know why. I'm just very excited to talk about the Blackhawks.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about.
I feel like we've talked about them a lot, and obviously I know Connor Bedard plays for them. But most importantly...
Look at my shirt. Look at you.
We are repping the Carolina Hurricanes today.
Yeah. I hope you like my shirt. If you follow us on TikTok, you saw it already, but...
I've had a stressful day. I had a nightmare that my hair got dyed pink and, not in a cute way. And then I woke up and realized that the eye appointment that I thought was next week was actually in an hour. So we will be doing coffee and mimosas. You can tell who likes a stronger mimosa out of the two of us.
Yeah.
Which Abby saw in a TikTok, and then we're going to focus up. I'm going to lock in.
I'm just letting you go.
Abby saw in a TikTok that drinking coffee and, having, coffee and then alcohol is,
having coffee and a mimosa in the morning is just, the adult version of a vodka Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah.
I support it. I do love a vodka Red Bull.
I don't know how you do that.
It's never my first drink, but it's typically my last. Here's the thing. I'm a lightweight, and I can have, one drink, and then I need a nap. But if I'm out with friends, I can't have a nap. I don't need to keep up, but I need to have energy to speak. So I have to go for a vodka Red Bull, because I don't want to drink just a Red Bull. That's kind of lame. But I need caffeine. I've got some news that I want to talk about.
Breaking news. Dun dun.
Dun dun. It won't be as breaking because this is releasing a bit after it. But the Red Wings have fired their head coach, Derek Lalonde, and signed Todd McLellan to a multi-year contract.
Who is Todd McLellan?
I'm so glad you asked this, actually. That was my next point. He has coached for San Jose, Edmonton, and LA. He was fired from the LA Kings back in February. So he's just
why? Because he sucks?
He doesn't suck. He just wasn't the right fit for the team. He was also an assistant coach under Mike Babcock in the early 200s and a part of their...
I don't think you meant the early 200s.
No, I did
the
not.
Early 2000s.
The early 2000s, and was a part of their 2008 championship run.
Perfect. Welcome, Tom. Good luck, Buttercup.
Yeah. He's also...
Take care of my Red Wings.
Also, Colorado has signed Blackwood to a 5-year contract extension.
Good.
Which should be good. Now all they need is a new team captain.
I agree.
The Dallas Stars, you saw this, I know, but they were fined for an optional practice during the holiday break.
I didn't see this. You told me
this.
I
told you. Well, Toronto was also fined back in 2002 $100,000 for the same thing. So I haven't seen exactly how much they're being fined yet. I don't think that's public knowledge, but
I agree.
Yeah.
Because if you're throwing out an optional practice, I feel like that pressures them to feel like they have to come regardless. And that is
feel pressured.
Not the reason for the season. Mm-mm. They have so many games for such a long time. Let them breathe. More importantly, Quinn Hughes injury? Question mark?
Yeah.
What the fiddlestick?
Pedersen?
Mr. Pedersen.
Also might be. I don't know. That was really weird.
I thought that Ricky Poo was just being like, okay, next man up. Y'all want to talk about how you're so good at your jobs? Cool. Let's see it. And then they fucking blew the lead in the span of 2 minutes. It was crazy. Seattle. They were up. It was literally 4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking looked really blew it out of the water.
And then the third period, they
just fumbled. It was so nice to see Brock put a few in the net. Connor Garland, I think, got one. Brock got 2.
Yeah, Brock got 2, Connor Garland got 1, and DeBrusque got 1.
Oh my God, I'm such a Canucks fan.
And the Kraken got 3 in the third period to tie it going into overtime, where Vince Dunn won it in overtime.
I know. I remember it all too well. It was so painful. That was the most pain that I have encountered yet in hockey.
Ovechkin is back.
Oh, yes, he is back.
Yes, he scored in his first game back. He's only 25 goals away from tying Gretzky's record. At the time that we're filming this, I hope.
I mean, he's going to break it. Probably. The odds are in his favor.
Knock on some freaking wood. We jinx these people like no one's business.
It's your business. What you do is your business. I have no sway.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Okay, well, the Chicago Blackhawks. There's a lot to talk about with this team. I said...
First of all, is it a coincidence that it's Chicago Blackhawks, CB, and their little star player or whatever is Connor Bedard, CB? I think not.
Did they manifest Connor Bedard?
Somebody did.
Somebody did.
Other than the TikTok girlies.
There's a lot to talk about with this team, but I'm excited.
Me too.
Okay, here, let's start this. Their F1 equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
I said if Force India and Mercedes had a baby, the success and history and the iconicness of Mercedes, but with some Force India scandals involved. They have a couple of big scandals. They have some like weird voodoo.
Interesting.
So they are an original 6 team.
A Mercedes Force India child is literally terrifying.
Right.
Ugh.
They're an original 6 team founded in 1926. Their current owner is Wirtz Corporation. This family has owned it since 1966.
Wirtz Corporation?
It's like Wirtz. It's WIRTZ. It's hard to say. Their general manager, Kyle Davidson, actually started as an intern with the video analysis department in 2010 and just worked his way up. So now he's GM.
I love to see it. American dream.
And they fired their head coach earlier on in this season. So their interim head coach is Anders Sorensen. They have won 6 Stanley Cups, 1934, 38, 61, 2010, 2013, and 2015.
That's crazy because some of those coincide with when Mercedes was at its top dominance. Mm-hmm. Coincidence? I think not.
I don't know.
That's from The Incredibles.
Oh. It's a normal saying, but she wants you to know she's thinking of The Incredibles. I love it. I love The Incredibles.
I love the first one, not the second
it?
one. No, I've got a book to read.
You're right. They've won 4 conference championships.
Yes.
92, 10, 13, and 14.
Yeah, they hit their stride.
And they have won 16 division championships. I'm not going to list them all. Mainly because I didn't write them down because it didn't fit.
That's okay. Keep going. You're doing amazing.
An original 6 team. The franchise was initially granted to Huntington Hardwick, a football star at the time. But only a few months later, he sold the team.
His God-given government name
Huntington
was Huntington Hardwick. Who the hell came up with that? Huntington is a rich, pretentious name. Mm-hmm. It is also the name of a horribly debilitating disease. But Huntington Hardwick.
He sold the team a few months later to Frederick McLaughlin, a Chicago coffee tycoon.
Yes. Coffee stands rise.
He was a major with the 86th Infantry Division during World War I. This division was nicknamed the Black Hawk Division.
Ooh, sick. Mm-hmm.
After Black Hawk, a Native American that had become a prominent figure in Illinois' history. Mm-hmm. Black Hawk was originally 2 words until 1986 when they discovered original franchise documents that had put it down as 1 word.
Love.
And so they then became the Blackhawks, 1 word.
I love history.
Yes.
And I love that.
They shared a building with the Chicago.
You made it through the most challenging sentence yet. And then Chicago.
They shared a building with the Chicago Cardinals, an AHA team, American Hockey Association team, owned by Eddie Livingstone.
Mother fricker. Livingstone, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Back to Canada.
Yeah. They were also the first NHL team with an all-American lineup. So
Ooh.
McLaughlin was very red, white, and blue.
He said keep it in the country.
Yeah. So he wanted to have an All-American team. That was his goal. Anyways, 1926, they played their first game against this Toronto St. Patrick's, the team made in the Toronto arena to keep Livingstone out of the NHL. If you remember correctly, they actually leased.
I do remember this. This
Livingstone
is
was livid. They played in the Chicago Coliseum that Livingstone had an AHA team also playing in.
My favorite storyline of hockey history thus far is the Livingstone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just beef.
It's so petty. I love it so much.
And I love that not only did they cut him out, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are still a freaking team. Long after this man.
They cut him out. They took his players, his arena, his jersey.
It was our dump, not Livingstone's home. Dump.
Yeah. Chicago won that game 4-1. And they had a pretty good season, making the playoffs, losing in round 1 to Boston. Nobody's beating Boston at this point in time. After their first season, McLaughlin actually fired Pete Muldoon. Apparently, Pete Muldoon was the head coach. Mm-hmm. Apparently, McLaughlin thought that they were good enough to be first. Muldoon did not fully agree. Here's where things get crazy, and here's why I'm mentioning this. In an article around this time, after it was announced that Muldoon was fired, someone wrote that Pete yelled at McLaughlin, "Fire me, Major, and you'll never finish first. I'll put a curse on this team that will hoodoo it until the end of time."
Hell yes.
Thus became the curse of Muldoon.
Fuck yeah, let's go. I love a curse. I love lore. I think I've proved that.
Yes, we love lore.
Ooh.
1931, they made their first Stanley Cup Finals, losing to the Canadiens.
Suck it. It's the curse.
1934, they would return to the finals versus the Red Wings. The game would go scoreless into double overtime, with the Blackhawks scoring and winning their first cup.
The curse was taking a break that year.
They were not first in the league, though. His whole thing was, you'll never finish first. They were not first in the league.
The curse is still intact.
Fast forward to 1938 with a record of 14-25-9. They were shorter seasons back then, but still.
That's atrocious.
Mm-hmm. They almost missed the playoffs with that. They still managed to scrape through to the playoffs, beating both the Canadiens and New York. Both series were won in overtime to make the finals versus Toronto. In this final series, their number one goaltender was injured, so they had to pull an emergency goaltender out of a bar in Toronto to play.
What is it called? Like an e-bug or something?
An e-bug, an emergency backup goaltender.
Fucking love that term.
They
pulled him out of a bar?
They beat Toronto in 5 games. And they hold, still to this day, the record for the lowest regular season team to win a cup.
Wow. I mean, I knew I was going to like this team. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I just felt it in my soul.
Yeah.
I love it.
1944, McLaughlin died of a heart disease. He is inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Was it the curse that killed him?
No, it was just heart disease. In his 18 years of ownership, they had 13 head coaches, firing coaches after as little as 2 games if your name is Godfrey Matheson, or right after a Stanley Cup win if your name was Bill Stewart. He also...
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. He fired a guy after 2 games
of being loyalty.
Head coach, and they won a Stanley Cup, and he fired the head coach.
Dude.
He also had a feud with James Norris, owner of the Red Wings.
First of all, I will always side with the Norrises.
Yes.
Do not ever come after me against the Norrises.
In 1936, James E. Norris actually purchased the Chicago Stadium and became his landlord. He also had beef with Conn Smythe.
Who has beef? You're a grown man.
And
you know who has beef? Livingstone.
Conn Smythe said about him. Where hockey is concerned, Major McLaughlin was the strangest bird, and yes, perhaps the biggest nut I've ever met in my entire life.
You're going to have beef with A, Norris, B, Conn Smythe. You're going to look at me and tell me that Conn Smythe is the problem?
Livingstone, I get it.
Fuck out of here. Who has beef? You're a grown man.
After his death, Bill Tobin became the owner. He was apparently, quote, only a puppet for James E. Norris, though.
Hell yeah. Norris supremacy.
They basically didn't pay any attention to this team. So at this time, Bill Tobin and Norris had also purchased an arena in St. Louis.
Yes.
Because they wanted to put a team there. So their main focus was that team, and they really didn't care.
So Chicago was the redheaded stepchild?
Yes.
That hurts.
It is also noted that any trade that really happened, especially between the Red Wings and Chicago, was just a, quote, heist for Detroit to get the players that they wanted. It pretty much never benefited the Blackhawks.
I bet Frederick was just turning in his grave.
And from 1945 to 1958, they only made the playoffs twice.
I mean, no one cares about them. Other than me, who wasn't even born yet.
Yeah. We'll backtrack. In 1950, James D. Norris, so Jr., essentially took over ownership of this team and wanted to actually make it something competitive.
Thank you.
The bare minimum. And they rebuilt the team financially and started trying to actually have a good one. He hired a former Detroit coach, Tommy Ivan, as general manager, and they acquired some incredible players. Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita, Pierre Palat, and Ted Lindsay. They also acquired goalie Glenn Hall. 4 out of 5 of those players would be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Good for him.
Yeah. 1961. Also, all of those players became backbones of the team. I hate the way that I use backbones.
Do you think they were foundational players?
Yes, they were foundational players for sure. They made the playoffs in 1961. And in the semifinals versus the Montreal Canadiens, despite losing round 1 to them in both 59 and 60.
It's the Canadiens.
They would win the series in 6 games to make the finals.
Oh, shoot.
In the finals, they played the Red Wings.
My God.
They would beat the Red Wings for their 3rd cup.
What? Mm-hmm. Wow. I love it.
Throughout the 60s, they were that team.
Period.
They were those bitches. Bobby Hull.
They were those girls.
It girls.
You may have heard of us.
Yes. Bobby Hull had 4 50-goal seasons.
Oh, my God, yes.
Stan Mikita won back-to-back scoring titles and MVP awards.
A king.
Pierre Palat won 3 consecutive Norris trophies.
Thank you.
Glenn Hall was named either first or second All-Star goaltender 8 out of 9 seasons.
Dude, I bet they were feeling themselves.
Oh my gosh.
They should be.
They should be. They had a good team, but they could not put it together for another cup.
Okay, but that is so freaking hard to do.
It is, but it is disappointing with how incredible their team was.
Well, you have to factor in the curse.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that back up.
Oh, really?
Yes. You are tracking with me perfect
Did we
today.
link brains before this?
I think we may have the mimosas linked brains. In the 1966-67 season, they finished first in the league, breaking the curse of Muldoon. Done.
It outlived Frederick, though, and that is what is important.
They would lose in the semis to Toronto, but after the curse was broken, it came out that quote was completely fake. The writer that published it for the Globe and Mail had writer's block and just wanted some creativity.
What?
But I also said, was it true, though? Because between the 27-28 season, they were worst in the league. They didn't place first in the league for 39 years, despite winning 3 Stanley Cups.
You're going to look at me and you're going to tell me that that's not a curse?
That's a curse.
No.
1966, James D. Norris actually died.
No.
And ownership was passed on to Arthur Wirtz.
As in the current Wirtz?
Yes.
Corporation or LLC or whatever?
Yes. Corporation. And his son, Bill.
Sorry, I just love the Norrises. Like, I love any time they come into the equation.
Well, Norris and Ritz had formed a 3-decade-long partnership. So it was kind of a gift.
Were they lovers?
Worse. He had also been a part of the group that Papa Norris had put together to buy the Red Wings.
Okay, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better.
Yeah. Glenn Hall was sent to the Blues during the 1967 expansion draft, and Palat was traded to Toronto.
Thank you.
So they lost 2 big ones.
Yeah.
In the 68-69 season, Bobby Hull actually broke his own record of goals with 58, but they still missed the playoffs for the first time in a decade.
It happens.
Yeah. That would be the last time that they missed the playoffs until 1998, though.
The thing is, and this is like obvious, but you can't sustain that. Like, eventually you're going to have a decline.
Yeah.
You know?
It's inevitable.
Yes. And change of ownership, obviously, that's going to send you, that's going to throw off your game.
Well, since this change of ownership, it has been in the family ever since. From 1970 to 1997, they would not miss the playoffs a single time.
Cute.
In the 70s, they won 7 division championships and were either first or second in the conference. They began a slow decline in the 80s after Arthur Ritt's passing. Bill became sole owner at this point before picking back up in the 90s to become a consistent threat again. In 1998, when they would miss the playoffs for the first time in like 30 years.
Yeah.
They only missed by 5 points. It wasn't 30 years. It was 29 years. If I had been patient, I would have read it, because the Bruins actually hold the record for the longest playoff qualifying streak with 30. So they were just 1 year off.
5 points short. Oh, golly. That must have hurt.
Yeah. They would also missed the playoffs in 99, 2000, and 2001.
Yeah.
Followed by a quick round 1 exit in 2002. And until 2009, they would consistently be out of the playoffs.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, back in 2004, ESPN actually named the Blackhawks the worst franchise in professional sports.
First of all,
no.
Anaheim is still existing.
Here's why. Chicago fans were also very upset with the team, specifically Bill Wirtz. It's so hard to say that name.
So it's not like father, like son?
No. Bill had enlisted a rule that home games could not be televised because it was unfair to season ticket holders.
What?
Ticket prices were raised.
I would love to see those ticket prices.
Well, it made them the most expensive tickets in the league.
That's insane.
Yes. They formed a little bit of a rivalry with the AHL team in Chicago, the Chicago Wolves, who had become a fan favorite at this time because it was
cheaper and better.
Nobody wanted to go see the Blackhawks.
I am not bankrupting myself to go see a freaking mediocre team.
And like, not being able to watch a game on the TV
that is so
ridiculous.
Stupid. In that day and age, I say, even though it was 20 years ago, but that's how you get fans. Yes. Nowadays, you have to have good social media. If you don't have good socials, you're screwed.
Yeah.
If you weren't televising all of your games back then, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's insane.
Bill, sir.
The Chicago Wolves, the AHL team, actually made a marketing slogan.
Yeah.
We play hockey the old-fashioned way. We actually win.
Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, it was so good.
I know when they got the go-ahead from whoever needed to approve that, and they approved it, I know they were just giggling and kicking their feet.
Oh my gosh.
That is so smart.
Right?
I love it.
Yeah. So post 2004-2005 lockout.
Yes.
General manager Dale Talon actually tried to restructure the team.
Finally.
They had some bad luck with injuries.
Curse.
And they still finished next to last in the conference and second last in the NHL for the 2005-2006 season with a record of 26-43-13.
I mean, I think they're like 12-22 this season.
They're
so
pretty bad.
It feels familiar.
Postseason, it was announced that Pat Foley, a long time and very popular
I know Pat Foley.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
TV and radio announcer, would not be brought back. He had spent 25 years with the team. Do you want to know?
A quarter of a century?
Do you want to know where he went?
Where?
To the Chicago Wolves.
Hell yeah. Yes.
He also
He
also worked with the Chicago Cubs as well.
Stop. That is so freaking funny.
Oh, I love it.
I love that so much.
Yes. Also, postseason, they made some big moves in the trade department and drafts, trying to really rebuild that team. 2006-2007 season, head coach was fired. They were 4th worst in the league. They missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
They did, however, win the draft lottery.
The lottery.
And the first overall pick, drafting Patrick Kane.
I love that man.
Yeah. I don't love him, but I recognize how incredible he is.
I love Patrick Kane. Someone's got to. It'll be me.
There is something that happens that I'm going to talk about in like 3 more bullet points, and I'm interested to see if it's going to change.
No.
In September of 2007, Bill died and is succeeded by his son, Rocky.
I love nepotism.
Who
Also, Rocky?
Yeah.
Dude.
They said he drastically altered his father's longstanding policies.
In a good way or a bad way?
Good way.
Thank God. Thank you, Rocky.
Yeah. He names John McDonough as team president, who was the former Chicago Cubs president. So he had experience running a sports team. And John was instrumental for their marketing. They got televised again.
Thank
They
God.
lowered ticket prices and all of this. Rocky also brought back Tony Esposito, Stan Mikita, and Bobby Hull as franchise hockey ambassadors.
Wow.
They had retired at this point, but that was major.
Rocky, number 1.
Rocky.
I love ya. Number
Thank
2,
you.
a modern man. Number 3, paying respect to your history.
Yeah.
Oh, dude was taking notes. He said, Dad.
Papa, no.
He said, I love ya, but you gotta go.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
And yes, I love that.
2007-2008 season. So with all of these going on, Patrick Kane led the rookies in points.
Yes, he did.
He and Jonathan Toews were finalists for the Calder Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah.
Kane ended up winning it.
Period.
But it was a close battle between those two. Despite that, they still missed the playoffs by just 3 points.
Oh my God, 3 points.
Toews was named captain before the following season.
Okay.
In 2008-2009 season, they would make the playoffs again for the first time since 2002, thank God.
War's over.
Beating the Flames in round 1 and the Canucks in round 2 before losing to the Red Wings in the conference finals.
That's like...
But that's
their older brother team, though, the Red Wings.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You got to lose to someone.
Yeah.
It might as well. You got to keep it in the family.
Also in 2009, allegedly, Patrick Kane and his brother came into his cousin came into legal trouble for allegedly beating up a 62-year-old tax driver over 20 cents.
What?
Initially,
what is the evidence against him? Sorry, you talk.
Initially, they were charged with felony robbery, which would have resulted in not only monetary penalties, but prison time.
Yes, felony charges, babe.
The case went before a grand jury and was reduced to lesser charges, ultimately resulting in third-degree charge of theft of services, and harassment. The taxi driver said that he didn't really want them to go to prison, but he wanted a very public apology. And they settled outside of court, ultimately. Neither him or his cousin, they all say that they never committed a crime. It's all very alleged. I think it was, I don't know. I think they probably did push him around a bit.
You're going to push a 62-year-old around?
Yeah.
How old was he? 62? Mm-hmm. You're going to push an older gentleman around? Why?
It was... Here,
over less than $1.
This is all alleged, too. The cab driver reportedly didn't have 20 cents in change. They pushed him around a bit. The cab driver said at one point that they were strangling him.
This is why I hate rich people.
I know.
Show me the facts of the case. I want a Johnny Depp, Amber Heard type style.
Me
I want a live stream.
too.
I want a Louis live stream.
Yeah.
Luigi, I mean, sorry.
It did very much tarnish Kane's reputation.
Oh my God.
They were also apparently super, super drunk.
Ooh.
That's not apparent. They were super, super drunk.
I really didn't want to know this.
I know.
love Patrick.
But I felt like I should say something.
I feel like it's only fair.
Let's follow the next season, 2009-2010.
Yes.
They signed Marian Hossa to a 12-year deal.
I didn't realize that they got all of these players.
I wanted to wait to talk about them because there's so much.
I love it so much.
You
I'm so
understand
happy.
all of this now.
I know.
I love it. She knows hockey.
A little bit.
They couldn't really get away from scandals. They came under fire for not submitting offers to their restricted free agents until after the deadline. And the NHL did an internal investigation, found them guilty, and then allowed all of their restricted free agents to become unrestricted free agents. They became a really good team, though, and would sell out most home games in the regular season, make the playoffs with a record of 52-22-8.
Hell yeah.
Which I feel like is a great record. Maybe
I feel like that's a really good record.
Maybe it's just because we're coming from Nashville where they're like...
This is my first season paying attention to records or even watching hockey. Mm-hmm. But to me, that feels like a really good record. Yeah. Now, we did have that one team that was 71.
Yeah.
As their
That's
record.
never going to be repeated. Never. They would win round 1 against Nashville in 6 games. They played the Canucks in round 2, also beating them in 6 games. They would go to the conference finals. They would sweep San Jose.
Really?
Who was the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
To make the Stanley Cup finals versus the Flyers that they would win in 6 games, winning a cup again for the first time after 69 years.
Oh,
not 69, 49 years.
Oh my God. Where did they pull that out from?
To quote Taylor Swift,
we should always.
Scandal does funny things to pride, but brings teams closer.
Period.
2012-2013, they kicked off this season undefeated in their first 6 games.
Love it.
They had a record points for 24 consecutive games.
Oh my God.
With a overall record of 21-3.
They were doing the damn thing.
The 3rd longest point streak in NHL history.
I love them.
They won the President's Trophy.
Period, as they should.
And
Thank you.
Beat the Wild in round 1 of playoffs.
I do really like Minnesota.
Facing the Red Wings in round 2, where they would win game 1, lose games 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
Come back and win games 5, 6, and 7.
No, they didn't.
A game 7 overtime.
No, they didn't.
To go to the conference finals, beat the Kings in 5, and in the Stanley Cup finals against Boston Bruins, the first time since 1979 that 2 original 6 teams met in the finals.
Beautiful.
With just over a minute left in the game and the score being 2-1 in favor of Boston, they would score 2 goals. One with a minute and 16 seconds left in the game, and the other with just 58 seconds remaining to clinch the cup.
Can I just say, dadgum.
Yeah.
Dude, I literally have no words, except I always have words. What the fuck? Where did they pull that from? Kings. Iconic. Bro, cinema. Where's the movie? Where's the documentary?
These notes and I got chills when I was doing the research.
I couldn't drop my jaw any lower than it already was. Dude, respectfully, I love it.
Yeah.
I have no notes.
None. 2014, the following season.
Please don't tell me they were bad.
They had a record of 46-21-15, enough to qualify for the playoffs.
Good.
It was still pretty good.
Yeah.
They would win round 1 versus the Blues, win round 2 versus the Wild before losing in round 3 to the Kings. Dude, I'm still running off of the high of that.
Dude, I don't even care about this one because what happened last year is just cinema. Like, I will feast on the crumbs of that victory. Anytime I watch a game this season and see them just absolutely blow it, I'll be like, it's okay.
But in 2013,
I know what you're capable of.
In the playoffs in 2013.
When I was in high school, a freshman, you were doing the damn thing.
Well, in the 2014-2015 season, they allowed the fewest goals in the NHL and had a record of 48-28-6.
Cutesy.
Patrick Kane was injured for a good part of the season, but made it back for playoffs. And in round 1, they would beat Nashville. They would sweep the Wild in round 2.
Yeah.
Before the conference finals, going down 3-2 to Anaheim, winning games 6 and 7 to make the Stanley Cup Finals yet again.
Nice.
Where they would beat Tampa Bay to win the Cup yet again.
I love to see it.
In the offseason, they actually acquired Artemi Panarin from the KHL. Do you know Panarin? He currently plays for the Rangers. I don't know how long that's going to last, but he's he's great.
They're playing freaking trade season up in the Rangers.
Yeah. Panarin and Kane were like the number 1 line.
I have such mixed feelings about Patrick Kane. I hate it.
I know. 2015 through 2016, Patrick Kane would win the Hart Memorial MVP. Nice. Panarin would win the Calder for Rookie of the Year.
Cute.
They were defeated in round 1 by the Blues.
Okay.
It's fine because I'm still running on the high from 2013.
I know.
2016 through 2017. Kane, Panarin, Taze, Hossa, and 2 other players who we haven't talked about, so I'm not going to name them.
Sure.
All had at least 20 goals that season. They would place first in their division and were the number 1 seed in the conference. However, they faced Nashville in round 1 and were swept by Nashville. 2017 through 18 season, as well as the 2018 through 19 season, they struggled. They didn't make the playoffs either time. They did make the 2020 playoffs, being eliminated in round 1 by Vegas. That was the last time they have made the playoffs to date.
2021?
2020.
2020. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I mean.
Yeah. The 2020-2021 season, Taze would not play due to an undisclosed medical illness. It's now come out that it was like an autoimmune disorder.
That's crazy because women are 2 times more likely to have autoimmune disorders. Hate that for him. Those are the worst, truly. Yeah. Like, our medicine is just way behind on how to treat autoimmune disorders.
Mm-hmm. One of their key veteran defensemen retired midway through the season due to concussion problems. He had multiple throughout his career.
Yeah.
They failed to make the playoffs. Danny Roots, son of Rocky.
What in the Vikings was that?
He was the son of Rocky.
Danny Rickerson, son of
Rocky.
Like, what the
He's Rocky's son. Was named the new chief executive officer.
Nepotism once again.
Yes.
But you know what?
And
Rocky did a great job with it.
Rocky did a great job turning this team back around.
Yes.
And major office changes were made just to coaches, overall staff.
Love.
Prior to the 2021-2022 season, you might recall this because we talked about it at Florida because their head coach was caught up in all of this.
Respectfully, I'm a mimosa deep, so I'm not going to recall this.
You probably will once I start talking about it. The Brad Aldrich sexual assault allegations came to light.
Yeah, actually, I do recall that.
Yes, back from 2010.
Yes.
As a refresher, and if you haven't watched our Florida episode, Kyle Beach filed a lawsuit against the Blackhawks for failing to adequately address Aldrich's wrongdoings.
And they didn't. He is completely right with that. They protected him and set him up to abuse more people. And then, didn't he go like junior leagues or something? And then he had access to kids.
He went to a high school.
Yes.
They never formally filed police reports.
Dude, what a piece of shit.
Yeah. After Aldrich's tenure with the Blackhawks, where they had that meeting, yes.
I want to say in episodes later, they have, like, I feel like that was kind of their wake-up call, and I feel like what I've heard since then, they addressed things head on and did not protect and just eliminated them from even having access to anything hockey related. But in that particular case, that was super screwed.
The NHL too, I feel like they kind of have a record in the recent decade for addressing these things head on and being like, if you even have accusations, you are not allowed.
Yeah.
I really respect that of the NHL. This was a fuck up, disrespectfully
epic proportions
by the Blackhawks.
Yes.
Because so here's the thing.
Tell me.
Aldrich had gone and worked for a high school hockey team, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And sexually assaulted at least one student at this school. That high school actually also filed a lawsuit against the Blackhawks, alleging that they gave the school a positive reference for Aldrich.
I mean, we have seen that does not work. You cannot just protect them. They will not change that pattern of behavior.
Yeah. Kyle Beach actually settled with the Blackhawks outside of court. I think he mainly wanted to just get it out there and be like, by the way, they fucked up.
Exactly.
This is what they did. I don't even think he wanted money out of it. He just wanted to be like, this is the problem.
I am so proud of him for even having me too. Just bravery to come forward. Like that in that sport, in a male-dominated field like that, I mean, he knew what he was going to be in for.
Yeah.
And he still had the courage to do that. Yeah. And I hope he's proud of that every single day.
Me too.
Because without him, that guy would have never been exposed, and he would have kept hurting people.
100%.
And that's all I'm going to say about it, I think.
Yeah.
Other than fuck you. And I hope your pillow is always hot, your sleep is always poor, your food never tastes how you want it to, and you have coronary artery disease.
100%. I don't even know what that last one is, but yeah. Fuck you. The NHL fined the Blackhawks $2 million and stated that every individual involved in that meeting would never be allowed to play for the NHL again without league permission. So they actually
is so appropriate.
So
that is such an appropriate reaction. And that is where I give the NHL credit. They took that, and from my outside perspective, they learned from it. Yeah. And they held them accountable, which is what should have been done in the first place.
So the head coach of Florida resigned. That's why we mentioned it in the Florida episode. Aldrich's name was also removed from the Stanley Cup as requested by new Blackhawks management.
Exactly.
100%.
I would like to start a petition to have Keith Kachuk's name put in place of his.
We put it in place.
Please, God.
I'll sign it. Send it to me.
I just feel like he deserves it.
He does. So that all happened prior to the 2021-2022 season. Yeah. That season, they sucked.
I mean, there was a lot going on internally.
Yeah. There was a shit storm going on because all of this actually happened throughout the season. During the 2021-2022 season, they acquired Fleury.
Yes!
But they traded him to Minnesota.
No.
Yeah, he's still at Minnesota.
Yeah.
2022-2023 season, Patrick Kane was traded to Arizona and then to the Rangers. It was actually a 3-team deal.
Yeah, it was like a weird... Yeah. Oh, very weird situation.
Taze was not re-signed, and they finished last in their division and third in the league. They did, however, win the draft lottery.
Oh my God. There it is! I knew it was going to make a comeback. The draft lottery. I can feel the draft lottery. Just wafting in. The draft lottery.
Oh my gosh. If you know that reference, they won the draft lottery.
The draft lottery?
Yes, and drafted first overall Connor Bedard. They also acquired Taylor Hall.
Hell yeah.
Corey Perry, who I don't know if we've talked about yet, but he's also an incredible forward. Yes. And Nick Foligno. Rocky died in July of 2023. His son Danny was named chairman and president of the Ritz Corporation that now owns the team.
Yes.
2023-2024, so last season, they were the second worst team in the league.
Oh my God.
Currently, they are the worst team in the league. It's pretty brutal.
I did not realize they were that bad.
So it's the Blackhawks.
Stop. That's so
San
depressing.
Jose, Nashville, and then the Sabres.
Oh my God.
The Winnipeg Jets are first in the league. I said the biggest takeaway, this team has too much talent to be so bad.
I don't understand why they're so bad.
I don't know. They've basically...
Let me ask you a question.
Let's talk Connor Bedard.
Let's talk Connor Bedard. Do you think he's overrated? Or do you think it's just a bad team?
I think he was good last season. I think this season he's fallen into a little bit of a slump, but I think part of that is because he's on a bad team. It's hard to give it 100% when your team sucks.
Yeah, I agree. If you heard my cat calling at the door, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. I said Connor Bedard, this team is basically built around him, but like not basically, actually.
Well, then why aren't they doing better? Did they not get him some help? Tell me everything.
I mean, they've got some help, but their defense lacks.
Respectfully, who else is on this team?
Nick Foligno is still on this team.
Okay.
He's the captain, drafted 28th overall in 2006 by Ottawa. He was also captain of the Blue Jackets for 6 years.
So a good leader.
Yeah. His dad played over 1,000 NHL games, and his brother currently plays for Minnesota.
Nice.
I also put he wears number 17 because that's the number his dad wore.
Stop.
So he has
That's
alternated.
so cute.
He has alternated wearing 71 when he's been on a team that someone senior to him has 17.
Ugh, respectful.
Yeah. He's also an avid supporter of cancer patient care and research at Rogers House, Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario Foundation, Ottawa Regional Cancer Foundation, and the Ottawa Hospital Foundation since he lost his mom in 2009 to breast cancer.
Oof.
He's also a celebrity chair for the Cystic Fibrosis Canada's Ottawa chapter. He and his wife are both very active in that foundation.
Cystic fibrosis is such a horrible
He's also
disease.
His daughter was also born with a heart defect. So
I love that man.
He and his wife donated $1 million to Nationwide Children's Hospital and Boston Children's Hospital in 2016, the two facilities that took care of his daughter as a newborn.
I love that so much.
He seems like a great guy. And he's pretty good.
Well, I mean, he's been captain of multiple NHL teams.
Yeah.
That is not for the faint of heart.
Do we think Connor Bedard is the modern day McDavid?
No.
No? Okay.
Definitely not. But it's also really hard to tell because this team is so...
I know. How long is his contract with Chicago?
Is he the one that had that video that was like, hobbies? I don't want hobbies.
Yeah.
I just want to go home and do nothing.
Yeah. He has a 3-year contract that he signed at the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
So he's
How old is he? Isn't he like 21?
He's a baby.
Maybe? I knew he's a baby.
19.
He can't even legally drink in this country?
He was born in 2005. So
that's a lot. If his family is from Canada and he is stuck, well, not stuck, but kind of stuck in Chicago, that's a lot of living to have to do.
We'll see. I hope that they can figure their thing out, but...
Okay, anything else we need to talk about?
No.
Next team.
Then let's get into Nashville.
Let's do it.
Okay, the Nashville Predators. What? You looked like you had something else to say.
I don't think so.
You looked like you were waiting to burst into song.
I just had I was going to give a mention to that hockey podcast that you sent me that did
Spitting Chicklets?
No, the one
Empty
with the
Netters.
Oh my fucking God, will you let me talk? The one that you sent me where they did like a gift for all 32 teams and New Jersey's Devils team New Jersey's present was Quinn Hughes. They were like, those parents don't need to be driving that much. They should just all be together. Nothing would make me happier on this planet.
Yeah, that was the Empty Netters. They're so funny. Another sibling duo.
Way funnier than us.
Yeah. Well, different kind of humor. It's fine. They don't burst into song, but I did die laughing. The gift to the Buffalo Sabres was a for sale sign.
A metallic new for sale sign.
Yes.
And the gift to the Vancouver Canucks was friendship.
Yeah.
Iconic. Honestly,
it was
amazing.
so good.
Okay, Nashville Predators.
Nashville Predators, their F1 equivalent, I put as Alpine. They are all right. They have definitely stood out at times, like Alpine randomly winning a race.
Accident.
It was an accident. It's true. You can't fully count them out, but they're probably only going to continue leading the midfield in their Central Division.
Those are the ones with the god
Oh my gosh, the worst jerseys
hideous
in the league.
Just a crime to look upon.
I don't like watching their games because of their jersey color. It's so awful on the eyes.
It's just hard to look at. Like, I don't want to.
It's supposed to be gold, but like, I'm so sorry. Vegas is Golden Knights, and their shade is a million times better.
Terrible.
They were founded in 1998.
So was I.
Yes, you were. It's true. They are owned by the Predators Holding LLC, and their current general manager is Barry Trotz. Current coach, Andrew Burnett, who played in their inaugural season, actually, and scored the first franchise goal.
Cute.
He's now their head coach. Yeah. They should probably get a new one. They have never won a Stanley Cup. They've only won one President's Trophy in 2018. They've won one conference championship in 2017 and two division championships in 18 and 19.
They haven't done anything.
1996. Rumors are swirling. The rumors are saying that the New Jersey Devils are going to move to Nashville.
Oh, all the rumors are true. Yeah, bring it all to new. What is it? Nashville?
Yeah.
Please, God. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Nashville actually offered the team not just the team, any team, a $20 million relocation bonus to any team that would relocate to Nashville. It's giving us.
It's giving me being desperate. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, I'm broke, so.
Yeah. And the Devils tried to, but they couldn't cancel their lease, so they didn't move. They did actually end up restructuring their lease in New Jersey to stay even longer, so.
Dang it.
When they failed to get a team to relocate, the NHL commissioner actually told Nashville that they would probably be considered in the upcoming expansion. And in 1996, a franchise was granted to Craig Leopold. Leopold is actually the owner of the Grand Ole Opry and the director of Gaylord Entertainment Company. Well, he now owns the Minnesota Wild. If you recognize his name, it's because we talked about him last episode.
I knew that I recognized his name, and I also knew that I recognized Tom McClellan's name, but, you know, a lot of names. I'm learning lots of names.
Yeah. In their first season, which was the 98-99 season, they finished second to last in the Western Conference with a record of 28-47-7.
Horrible.
The next season, they did finish.
The first year.
The next season, they finished dead last in the conference.
We're still learning. We're new.
To kick off the 2000-2001 season, they played their first two games of the season in Japan versus the Penguins. You know how they'll do, like the Devils played in Czech Republic?
Yes.
Yeah. It was essentially that.
How they go on team bonding trips? Yes.
Yeah.
Under the guise of playing hockey. I'm familiar.
Yeah. It's really just because they want to go on a trip with their bros.
Same.
They split wins. They only played 2 games. Penguins won one. Nashville won the other. And they actually finished that season 10th in the conference with a total of 80 points. The following season, 01-02, the only upside really was they reached their 100th victory in franchise history. 2002-2003, similar, improving so very slowly. 2003-2004, they finally finished 8th in the conference, which isn't great, but they still were able to make playoffs for the first time in their 5th season. They would lose in round 1 to the Red Wings in 6 games. 2004, 2005, nobody played, labor dispute. 2005 to 2006, they signed Paul Kariya.
Yeah?
From Anaheim.
How did they get him?
He wanted to get the hell out of Anaheim, so he was going anywhere.
But to Nashville?
They were better than Anaheim at the time. And they signed him to a 2-year deal, which was a major signing for them at this point. And they won their first 8 games of the season. And then we get to November in a game against the Red Wings. A Red Wings defenseman, Jure Fisher, he suffered a seizure and collapsed on the bench.
On the bench?
Mm-hmm. His heart stopped, and he was resuscitated using CPR and an AED.
Yeah, no shit. There is no other way to do it other than to slice him open and give him a freaking cardiac massage.
They sliced his chest open on the bench.
Oh my God. Can you imagine how many people would pass out and throw up?
The game was canceled and scheduled to be made up in January. He retired. This was the first time in NHL history that a game was actually canceled due to an injury. They would make up this game. They'd play a full 60 minutes. But they allowed the score to stay the same at the beginning of the game, which is crazy because the Preds had a 1-0 lead. So they were like, "Oh, you'll keep your 1-0 lead, but we will play a full 3 periods." Crazy, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. They did win that game 3-2.
I'll take your pity point.
So that 1-0 lead is what made them win.
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah. And in March of 2006, so that same season, they set a franchise record for wins, including a 2-0 shutout versus Phoenix. A game that included a goalie goal, too.
I love a goalie goal.
Mason. They finished the season with 106 points, their first 100-plus point season, and a record of 32-8-1 at home. So they won a good bit of their home games.
I mean, finally.
Yeah.
They've had enough time to.
They made the playoffs, losing in round 1 to San Jose in 5.
I didn't expect them to move past level 1.
No. 2006, 2007 was basically just a trading and acquisition season. They finished 4th in the conference with 110 points, 3rd in the league.
110 points?
Mm-hmm. It was bad.
3rd in the league?
Yeah.
It's about damn time.
Yeah. Made the playoffs. What do you know? They lost in round one to San Jose in 5 games. Postseason, there were a lot of rumors about the franchise moving, and they continued into the next. There was also some depletion of talent, aka people leaving.
Depletion of talent is a beautiful phrase,
right?
For people leaving.
Really?
I think so.
I think so too. It is. It's better than being like, yeah, they got the hell out of Dodge.
They said, bye.
Yeah. And also, some people that stayed on the team just weren't performing well because
I feel like it encompasses players that are not performing optimally and people leaving.
Yeah.
Depletion
it's a
of
great
talent.
Term for that.
I like it.
Thanks. I didn't come up with it.
So I was saying, is that an Abby original?
No, it is not. In 2007, 2008, they had such low expectations, but they still managed to finish 8th in the conference and qualify for playoffs, losing in round 1 to the Red Wings in 5 games.
Nice.
Missed the playoffs in 2009-2010 season. Colin Wilson was drafted 7th overall by the Preds in 2008. He made his debut in this 2009-10 season. He scored 11 points in just 15 games.
Dang.
And by the end of the season, he had scored 15 points in a total of 35 games that he played with the team. They also had Patrick Hornquist, a 23-year-old who came in and scored 30 points that season.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. They made the playoffs, losing in round 1 to Chicago.
There it is.
In 6 games. Despite the series loss, they had won just their first postseason road game ever.
Aww.
They had lost every road game postseason.
That's kind of sweet.
Isn't it? And they showed a lot of improvement, too.
Well, yeah, they got a couple of young kids in there that could do something.
Yeah. 2010 through 2011, they made the playoffs, winning the first round versus Anaheim.
Really?
Yes.
And who did they lose to in the second round?
The Canucks.
I knew it.
They lost in 6 games to the Canucks.
It happens.
At the end of the season, they modified their logo and, quote, simplified their color scheme. They got a little bit of a refresh. They didn't cut full bangs, just curtain bangs.
That's what I have rocking today.
Oh, that's fine. 2011 through 2012, they signed goalie Pekka Rinne to a 7-year, $49 million deal. That was the largest Predators contract ever, and he became the highest paid goalie in the league that year.
Good for him.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good goaltender. I say this every episode.
Mm-hmm. They made the playoffs, winning round 1 versus the Red Wings in 5 games.
Who'd they lose to in round 2?
Phoenix.
Yep.
2012, 2013.
If you tell me that they progressed past round 2, I'll be shocked to my core.
No, 2012, 2013, they missed the playoffs entirely. They signed Shea Weber to a 14-year, $110 million deal with a $68 million signing bonus.
Where the hell did they get that money from?
I have no idea where they're pulling this money
Run
from.
the finances. We have seen this time and time again.
Yeah.
They spend money they don't have.
Literally.
And then we bankrupt the team.
Well,
where did you get that from? You haven't done anything.
I mean, their owner
Impressive.
owns a major organization in Nashville, so...
But
He's
I mean,
worth billions and billions of dollars.
if you told me that team was worth $110 million, I'd be like,
No.
nah. You're paying
Yeah.
one player that much? Over
14
years?
He's not getting paid that much for like every year.
I know.
Okay. But the $68 million
insane.
signing bonus is what
$68
sent me
million.
as a signing bonus. I think I'm in the
Girl.
wrong field.
Well, we could find out. Should we start hockey today?
Should we start hockey today?
I've got the aggression.
Yeah.
I just don't have the size. But you know, everyone needs a Connor Garland. And everyone needs a Cole Caulfield.
Yeah.
Short Kings unite. I'd like to apply. Is there a Queens department?
Yeah. Despite that signing, they did miss the playoffs. They would miss the playoffs again in 2014. Head coach Barry Trotz's contract was not renewed after 15 seasons with the team.
Did he just have to trot along to a new team?
No, he was offered an unnamed position with the organization. He is now general manager. So he stayed with the organization.
Interesting.
Yeah. Peter Laviolette was hired as head coach instead.
I know him.
You do know him.
Hey, Peter.
Yes. In 2015, they made the playoffs before losing in round 1 to Chicago.
Yep, there it is. Every time. Every
Made
year.
the playoffs in 2016 as well. They won round 1 versus Anaheim in 7 games.
Is that the only team they can beat in the playoffs?
They beat the Red Wings once. Or twice. I don't know. They did lose in round 2 to San Jose.
There it is. Their nemesis.
Yeah. In the offseason, they actually traded Shea Weber. That 14-year contract didn't last very long, but they traded him to Montreal in exchange for PK Subban.
Whoever is making these trades, finally, someone with a brain.
2016 through 17, they sold out every single home game in the regular season, which is crazy to me.
How?
They were finally competitive.
I would go see PK.
I'd go see PK.
I'd pay a lot of money to see PK.
I would pay, oh my gosh, I would pay a lot of money to see like PK. Let's get all of the hockey commentators to play a game together. I'd love to see that.
Who is it? Trevor Triggs? Who is it?
Trip Tracy.
I knew it was a double T.
I heard TT and I was like, I know who you're talking about.
I love that man.
Oh my gosh.
That man is the best.
Yeah. They sold out all of their home games.
Good
they
for
made
them.
the playoffs. And in round 1 versus Chicago, who was first in their conference at the time, they swept them. The first time that an 8th seed had swept the first seed in a conference in NHL history.
Wow, their luck really changed. Mm-hmm. They got money, they got fans. All of a sudden, we're sweeping the top team.
Yeah, round 2, they played St. Louis, winning the series in 6 games, making the conference finals for the first time in franchise history. And then in the conference finals, they played Anaheim. They know this one.
Oh, fudge.
They won the conference title in 6 games to make the Stanley Cup Finals versus Pittsburgh.
Please tell me they absolutely got demolished.
They lost in 6 games.
Yeah.
But
what a story.
Yeah, right?
What a
season for them.
I mean, we
after
knew they
all
were going to beat
this,
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, they do every time.
Yeah. 2017 through 2018 season, they would win the division title for the first time, as well as the President's Trophy for the best regular season record.
Cute. Good job, you guys.
They made the playoffs, winning round 1 versus Colorado in 6 games before losing in round 2 to Winnipeg in 7.
Oh, welcome, Winnipeg. We've not mentioned you yet.
No. 2019, they won the division title again, losing in round 1 to Dallas. January 2020, they fired Peter Laviolette and replaced him with John Hines. COVID hit. They did not qualify for playoffs. They did make playoffs in 2021, losing in round 1 to Carolina. 2022, they were swept in round 1 by Colorado, who actually won the cup that season. 2023, they missed the playoffs. But in February 2023, the GM announced that he would retire. In May 2023, they hired Andrew Brunette to be the 4th head coach in history, which is kind of crazy that they...
I mean, that's not bad. They've been at this like 25-ish years.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that...
And they've only had 4?
Yeah, especially with
loyalty.
Especially with their track record.
I know.
Yeah. They are currently 3rd last in the league this season.
But they're not last, and they're not second to last.
Yeah, they're not good either.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You can't be good when those are your jerseys.
They do have some notable things. The Predators stems from a Smilodon skeleton that was found under downtown Nashville in 1971. It's a prehistoric, now extinct saber-toothed predator that can weigh up to 620 pounds. That was known to hunt bison, camels, and other large herbivores. It's been extinct for over 10,000 years.
Camels?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I saw a rendering of what they think it would look like. Just picture a lion with saber teeth that can be up to 11 inches long.
So like Aslan from Narnia.
Yeah, but
longer
bigger
flame. Nope, not longer flames.
Fangs.
Longer teeth.
Yes.
Cutesy.
So that's where the Predator stems from.
I want to pet that dog.
I want to pet that dog.
Can I pet that dog?
They also have... Do you remember... What was that hockey documentary thing that we watched on Netflix about the Trashers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. What was it?
You know how they have a section that was like...
Section like 119 or whatever?
Something like that. Yeah. They have a section 303, also known as the cell block.
Ooh.
Yes. And they refer to themselves as the loudest section of the loudest arena in the NHL.
I think it's called Untold Crimes and Penalty. Yeah,
yes.
Untold Crimes and Penalty. Like,
yes.
I can't remember which franchise it or which yeah, I think franchise.
Yeah.
What series it comes from.
Yeah.
That is so good.
It's very good. It's very interesting.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Their front office actually recognizes this section as like an organization. And they make a large banner that hangs on the wall behind the section.
I love the involvement with the fans.
Also, the fans of this team, during the final TV timeout, they have a standing ovation where they just cheer for the entire TV timeout.
Oh, I love that.
Every game. It started during a game in 2008 versus St. Louis that they ended up winning. So now they just do it every game.
I think that's so cute. Like the Seth Jarvis kid that comes to literally every home game.
That dresses up as him. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Brady Shea plays here now.
What is your deal with him? Who is he?
Love
you
him.
love him. He's the only player that you mentioned on Nashville.
I'm going to mention some more players. He played for the Hurricanes. Carrie Underwood's husband also played here, but we know that. I'll talk about some players. Roman Josi, sorry, I forgot.
Period.
He is the captain of the team. He's a defenseman who was drafted in round 2 back in 2008 by Nashville. He has set and broken numerous franchise records.
Get it,
Yes.
Roman.
And he is widely considered to be one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Emphasis on one of. In 2019-2020 season, he became both the first Swiss player and the first player from the Predators franchise to win the James Norris Memorial Trophy as the league's best defenseman.
He won the Norris?
Mm-hmm. In March of 2023, he also became the second fastest active defenseman to reach 600 points in his NHL career. Also on this team, Jonathan Marchessault. He is a forward. He was undrafted.
Heck yeah.
But signed his first NHL contract in 2012 with Columbus. Prior, he played in the AHL, and he continued to play off and on in the AHL. He was picked up by Vegas in the 2017 expansion draft and helped lead that team to their cup win.
Heck yeah.
His first.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yes. This is his first season with Nashville, and he is, quote, on a heater.
Ooh.
Yes. He is second in points on the team right now.
Who's number 1?
Philip Forsberg, which is the next person I wanted to...
Forsberg.
Yes.
That's a cute name as well.
He leads the team in points so far this season. He's a forward drafted 11th overall by Washington, also in 2012.
Okay.
Marchessault is second. Josi is third. He signed an 8-year, $68 million contract extension to stay with the team until 2029-2030 season. Which is so far away.
Oh
but
my
also
gosh.
Not that far away anymore. Yeah.
I hope to not be living in this state by that time.
He's also a partial owner of the Nashville Soccer Club that plays in the MLS.
Stop. Why is that so cute, actually?
He also has the best mustache in the league, and there's no questioning that.
Do you have a picture?
I will pull one up for you right now.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
You can't properly see it, but he, like, curls it.
I can see it. I like that mustache.
Yeah. He's just a funny guy, too.
I do really like that mustache.
Yeah.
A mustachio question. Mustache.
And that's the Nashville Predators.
Unremarkable, aside from that mustache.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else we need to talk about?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to episode 14 of Two Girls Chirping. I'm Lauren.
I'm Abby.
Hopefully.
Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025.
We'll see.
Okay.
Bye. Happy New Year.